Okay, Neuro-Mass exercise, Neuro-Mass workout for the abs, the flexion chain, if you will. We got leg raises today, taking my time getting set up, lifting up very slow, very controlled. It's funny watching this video now because when I'm doing this, I'm trying my best to put a good solid pause at the top of these leg raises. And in my mind, it feels like I'm lifting it up and there's like at least a good second or two where I'm pausing at the top. But of course, watching this, I'm like, I didn't pause it hardly at all. It's funny how you perceive yourself working out versus how you actually are working out can be sometimes very different, which is why I always recommend it's a good idea to videotape yourself when you're doing things, because you see things like that you just wouldn't notice otherwise. So that's the first set. The grinders, of course, leg raises, very slow, very controlled. Then we go into the lying leg raises. Lying leg raises, this is more of an explosive, fast, powerful style of activity. Again, a 2-to-1 ratio. So whatever you get for those slower grinders, roughly twice as many the fast and explosive. While I'm doing this, and the leg raises beforehand, always trying to pay attention to moving the pelvis. And remember, your abs attached to your pelvis, your pubic bone, as it were. So your abs don't control your legs. So you're not guaranteed to have good abdominal activation just because you're lifting your legs. And then we have the hollow body and tuck plank, roughly about 20-30 seconds or so. But getting back to what I was saying earlier, a lot of times in combat conditioning, people will say things like, oh, I got the master step with a straight leg raise right off the bat, or that's the easiest exercise out there. But the fact of the matter is there's a very big difference between just picking up your legs and actually tilting your pelvis up, scooping your hips up, getting your abs to be engaged throughout the whole range of motion. Completely different type of action, even though visually it may look about the same. So, as I'm always saying, don't be satisfied with just getting the exercise done. The point of doing an exercise isn't to do the exercise. It's to create and manipulate muscular tension. And it doesn't matter if you got the one-arm push-up. It doesn't matter if you got the straight leg raise. The movement itself that you have is of little consequence because it's the tension within the muscle. Do you feel it? Do you have the tension in your abs? If you're doing straight leg raises, but you always feel it in your lower back, you're not doing what you need to do in order to make your abs bigger and stronger. So a lot of times people need to regress the exercise quite substantially in order to do things. So you can see I'm kind of palpitating there a little bit. That's a tip again from the Neuro-Mass book of tapping the muscles, literally trying to build up that mind-muscle connection, because you're not going to have your muscles turn on just because you're doing an exercise. Exercise doesn't control muscle tension. Your brain does. And everything about your exercises makes or breaks your success depending on how well your brain talks to your muscles. So when you get a better connection, a better mind-muscle control, better tension control, you can do the exercise visually. It could look like you're doing the exercise the exact same way. But from a muscular standpoint, from a tension standpoint, it's completely different. And therefore, you'll get much better results from it. So long story short, the bottom line, don't settle for just being able to do the exercise and doing it quote-unquote correctly. Who cares if you're doing it correctly? It doesn't matter if you're doing it right. It matters if you're doing it better. And better means more tension in the muscles. So set number 2 here, trying to keep my back tight, keep my lats engaged. As always, your lats, your back, that's your foundation to your exercises, especially your core and abdominal work. So make sure your back is tense. It's like you're squeezing the floor together. And the way I kind of visualize it is while I'm pulling up my hips, it's kind of like I'm trying to use my abs to pull my pants up, if you will. If you're trying to pull the front of your pants up like they're falling down, that's what your abs are doing. That's kind of what I've got in my mind that helps me work. Maybe it'll work for you. I don't know. With the hollow body plank here, what I like to do too is I'll tuck my hips up while I'm on my knees and then come up on my toes. A lot of times people will try and get into the plank, then tuck their hips. But as I explained in my chain training ebook, it's a lot easier to establish tension in a muscle before applying resistance. Because once you have resistance down, then it's much more difficult to control muscular tension. So I call it PTR, position, tension, resistance. Get in the position you want to be in, turn on the tension, then apply the resistance. And that's going to be a heck of a lot better. And I find that to be much more beneficial with core training as well. Once again, I'm not editing these videos so you can see exactly what my strength workouts are like. I'm turning my abs on a little bit there, trying to just keep them loose. Your abs should really be on fire at this point. When I did this the other day, I was telling a friend, I was like, oh yeah, I did my ab exercise, and like, how you feeling? Like, dude, I felt like I literally got socked in the gut. Like someone just came and sucker punched me right in the belly. That's a good core exercise. That's a good core workout right there. It shouldn't feel like, yeah, they're a little bit warm. It should feel like a good hard workout. It should not feel like something that's light and you feel a light burn. It should be very, very difficult and very hard. And especially with the hanging leg raises here. I see a lot of times where people will just rip through these very, very quickly. It's a significant challenge to do these in the slow, controlled grinder movements that you can see here in the Neuro-Mass style workout. So if you think these are starting to get easy, by all means, just slow it down, put a good 2 or 3 second pause at the top, keeping the abs tight. Again, I'm trying to focus on my pelvic movement, and the leg movement is secondary. It's not just about picking up the legs. Also, when you're hanging there, keep your back tight, squeezed in, and your chest. If you can keep your chest engaged, that'll give you more support for your upper body as well. All right, so the third set here on the home stretch, leg raises. Things are just feeling really, really burned out at this point. You can see I'm getting my hips up a little bit there. Happy with the pace of this, trying to keep my legs locked. If you can get a little bit of a hamstring stretch, that's a very good thing as well. And keeping the tension on the front side of my body. Burning like crazy. Now we've got the hollow body plank to finish off. So on the floor, position, tension, and then apply resistance. Just takes a second to do it in that order, but it makes all the difference in the world as far as your mind-muscle connection goes. Holding for about 30 seconds, I'm also trying to keep my lats somewhat engaged and turned on, keep my back on, my quads, my hips, and I'll hold this for another 10, 15 seconds or so. So there's my my abdominal workout, folks. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Talk to you guys then. Till then, be fit and live free.